If you guys are looking for a special way to strengthen your core that also releases stiffness in your low back, check out this 10-minute tutorial. I bring in world-renowned yoga instructor Ben Sears to teach you how to strengthen your core in a unique way that's going to immediately relieve stiffness in your back. So this is a part of a full 3-part workshop series that we've released in the Manful Yoga app and members area. But this clip is so good that I wanted to share it here on YouTube as well. I hope you enjoy.
The first drill that we're going to work on, Dean, you can go ahead and lie down on your back, is to understand a breathing pattern called intra-abdominal pressure. So intra-abdominal pressure is the type of breath that you would use if you were going to pick something heavy off the floor or like do a big lift, like a deadlift or something like that. And it's essentially expanding your belly in all directions like you're putting on a weight belt or a corset. So what Dean's going to do here is inhale, and without overdoing it, push your belly out laterally, upwards, and push your lower back into the floor. And so what he's going for is eliminating any gap between his low back and the floor. So if I try to take my hand and put it under his back, there's not going to be any space there. And then he'll feel like a support sensation in the lower back, and like his lower back is getting a little bit longer. Right, so on the inhale and the exhale, he's pushing his lower back into the floor, and on the inhale, he's pushing his belly out in every direction. The next move, once you feel like you've got a handle on this, just to really be clear that the stability is there and that the engagement is there, hover your right foot off the floor just a tiny bit, like an inch. Yeah, and you can just let it dangle. And you'll feel that that's like adding more weights to the bar. Like the demand has increased. You feel your abdominals have to work a little bit harder. Right? It's hard to talk in this position, but we have this nonverbal communication, and we just understand each other so deeply because we both have beards and tank tops. And do yoga. So then to add more weights to make the resistance a little bit more demanding, he could lift his other foot from the floor. So if you get to this point and you feel like you're no longer, like he's doing a really good job here, there's no gap between his back and the floor, I can't jam my hand under there. So he's doing an excellent job maintaining the stability. If you feel like you lift your one or both feet from the floor and you lose the gap between, and you create a gap between your low back and the floor, then you just put both feet back down on the floor, because really we're looking to prioritize the integrity of the position over the depth. And the more that you build things sustainably, the more that your practice will actually support you for the long term. So then you can go for a little walk, tap your heels one at a time. So just like right tap, left tap, so that, both heels might come off the floor at the same time if you already have a little more strength in this position, or you can do it more slowly and keep one heel down at all times if you feel like your back's starting to elevate. So he's doing a good job keeping a poker face, but I know that his abdominals are starting to fire up now, and it's really starting to work. So we're going to do the little tap, go a little faster, challenge it a little bit more, right? But notice a very small movement, right? He's not lifting his feet way up in the air, and if you can see that he's getting some color in his face. He's starting to wonder how long I'm going to make him do this for in front of all of his students and audience. But because I'm a benevolent friend, I'm going to say stop there. Right. So what did you feel?
Good warm-up. Yeah, definitely a comprehensive core engagement.
Yeah.
So I wasn't feeling just one section engage. The emphasis on keeping the back down, that made me feel it more through kind of the obliques, but also the back of my obliques, so maybe even a little
the backside.
Maybe even
and
QL.
Hopefully, these are all really good insights. Hopefully, what you feel when you do this is that your back is stable and supported and not engaged, like if you're doing a cobra or a back bend. And that's really important, because you can do like crunches or abdominal exercises all day. You might even develop visible abdominals, but they might not be functional. So really, what we're trying to do is use the core for the purpose of supporting the lower back. All right. So that's intra-abdominal pressure. That's like pushing the belly out in all directions. I want to build on this now and work towards a breathing technique that I call lateral breathing. This is going to be a very impactful breath pattern and core activation for many yoga postures. So I'm going to actually show you what the lateral breathing looks like on my belly and torso, and I'll show you in two different positions. So the first one is I'm just going to do it standing. So if I were to do like a paradoxical breath where I think I'm doing a deep breath, but I'm actually not, I'm just breathing into my chest, it will look like this. You can see my rib cage lifts, and I'm pressed into more of a back bend, and I'm already kind of stuck in a back bend because of my anatomical shape. So that breath is not productive in most yoga postures because it disables my ability to work in my hips because my back takes all of the brunt of the work, or like my back, which wants to bend the most, bends the most. So I'll give you another option. This is called lateral breathing. So it's very similar to intra-abdominal pressure. The difference is instead of pushing belly out, belly goes in and you're creating length. So on the inhale, I hollow, but notice my ribs aren't going up and out. And on the exhale, I draw my ribs together like that. So you can see that from the side, my back will actually get longer. So this is like my natural position with a big arch in my back. If I do lateral breathing, it looks like this. It feels like good in my lower back, but it's a fair amount of work in my abdominals. If I do it lying down, it looks like this. So again, what I'm really trying to do is not flare my ribs. You can see I'm going to keep my back flat the entire time. So the inhale is here. The exhale is here. The reason I call it lateral breathing is I imagine that I'm breathing in through my navel and out to the sides to create space and decompression. And then on the exhale, I maintain the closure of my bottom ribs. Starts to feel like a really nice stretch in your lower back. So I'm going to walk Dean through this now. So you can go ahead and...
So does it help to kind of think like breathing from here out in a V shape?
It definitely does.
Okay.
And there's a movement in yoga that's called Uddiyana Bandha that's like a breath retention where you hollow your belly and your belly kind of flies up under your ribs. It's similar to that, except the ribs don't expand. So for this one, guys, what I want you to do also is take a block and put it between your knees, because it'll just kind of like help you to have a squeeze a block. It'll help. It'll help you to.
I thought you were just gonna hold it.
Yeah, no, you got to do the work, man. So it'll help you to just create a little more intention. So one thing I think about when I practice is that tension will always be there to some degree, but putting intention in the tension so that you move energy on purpose instead of just being tight where you're always tight. So little squeeze in the block, right? And you can see like if you show them when you inhale and flare your ribs. Like lift this part up, right? So you can see how now he's got this big gap between his back and the floor. That might be useful in a back bend, but it's not going to be useful for most other yoga postures. So on the inhale, you can also, another thing that you can do to help is put your hands on your bottom ribs as you're learning this, and he's going to use his hands to kind of push his ribs together, right? Because that can be a hard engagement to learn. So now inhale, hollow your belly and lengthen your back without losing your back against the floor, and exhale and push your ribs together and press your navel down. Nice. Keep going like that. What you can do when we're learning this, in yoga we breathe mostly through the nose, but you can form your mouth in the shape like you're going to blow out a candle far away. Try that, and exhale like pretty hard through your mouth. Right. And now on the next one, what he's going to try to do is not open his rib cage when he inhales, but still lengthen his back. Yeah, you can see how his back's getting longer. And then on the exhale, he's really going to push his lower back into the floor. So it should start to feel like you're doing abs. Squeeze the block a little bit. Now bring your arms out to the side. So now what we're going to do is play with tension a little bit. Arms down just a little. Imagine now that you're working at about 30% effort. Over the course of the next 30 seconds, ramp up to what feels like your maximum effort through your whole body with the focus of reaching the crown of your head that way and your sitting bones the other direction. But it's not really from your pelvis. It's from all of this work in the abdominals. So on the inhale, he hollows out and lifts up. That's it. You see the difference in that breath once I poked him in the belly? And then exhale and pull bottom ribs together. Yeah, so now he's really getting it even more. He was doing great before, but now he's getting a little bit more length. So 15 seconds, squeeze your fists, push your arms into the ground, and use all of the effort you can muster, not just to tighten without purpose, but to engage your core muscles in order to pull your spine in both directions, gently squeezing the block, and feel for this lengthening in your back. You can see Dean's doing a really good job of expanding or telescoping his rib cage without creating a gap between his lower body and the floor. Okay? And then relax. Nice. Did you feel that length in your back?
Yeah. So the length in the back, and then that more mindful pulling belly button down.
Yeah.
And then, so for me, I'm trying to think like, so for me, it's almost breathing out in a V.
I like that imagery. I think that makes a lot of sense.
And then the lengthening in the back, just maintaining that contact in the back.
Yeah.
So just being aware of that contact between the low back and the ground. And then I think one thing that'd be interesting to people to test is noticing, because a lot of people have these left or right imbalances that they might be unaware of.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting for you if you're going through this exercise right now to be aware of, oh, that's weird. Like I feel my left side is in more contact with the ground, or it feels like these muscles are working, but these ones aren't as much.
There's a metaphor that I love in relationship to this, which is that contact is a conversation. So when your body makes contact with the floor, it gives you information. When you make contact with another person, it gives you information. And when you have a conversation with your words, it gives you information. So when you do your practice, think of like the whole practice as an exchange of information between you and your body. And the better contact that you make, the more productive the conversation will be. So this, the floor is an even template. So it tells you where you are. And this isn't like, this is basic, but it's not beginner. Like you have to bring an inquisitive and excited to learn mindset to this kind of work. And that's really what makes it productive because, you know, doing stuff like this is really hard to do in a yoga posture. So I think it's very productive to take it into a position like just lying on your back so that your body can understand the information and then you can integrate it in more demanding scenarios like a warrior pose or, you know, any yoga pose really. All right, should we move on?
All right, guys, I hope you got a lot out of that tutorial. If you want to see more of these, let me know in the comments section below and I can pull some other clips. If you like the video, be sure to hit like, subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. We put out a new one every Tuesday. And if you want to see the full 3-part workshop series that we recorded with Ben, you can look at those at the Manful Yoga app and members area. Learn more about that at manfulyoga.com/join. If you want to check out some of the other collaborations that I've done here on YouTube, we did a pelvic floor workout with Lance Frank that has been extremely popular. Go ahead and click up over here to watch that now. I'll see you guys in the next video.